In 1776, a Swedish pharmacist held a flask of white crystals. He had just isolated a compound from sugar and nitric acid. A compound that would make every cleaning product on Earth obsolete. He died at 43. His discovery was buried for 250 years. Today, the average American household spends $1,800 a year on cleaning products. Bathroom sprays, rust removers, tile brighteners, lime scale solutions. The powder that replaces all of them costs less than $1. This is the story of the compound that was too simple, too cheap, too effective, and too dangerous for an industry built on repeat purchases. A quick safety note before we begin. Everything we discussed today involves natural compounds. But natural does not mean harmless. Gloves and ventilation, always. Now, the archive opens. The global cleaning industry generates over $200 billion a year. It is built on one principle: repeat purchases. A product that works too well, a product you only need to buy once, is not innovation. It is a threat. So what happens when that product already exists? The answer begins in a laboratory in Uppsala. In the year 1776, glass flasks line wooden shelves. A candle flickers beside an open notebook. Carl Wilhelm Scheele, the man who would discover more elements than anyone in history, is dissolving sugar with nitric acid. He does not know he is about to isolate a compound that nature has been manufacturing for 400 million years. White crystals form at the bottom of his flask. He records the result carefully. He calls it acid of sugar. We call it oxalic acid. Scheele discovered oxygen, chlorine, manganese, barium, tungsten. He tasted every compound he found, a habit that killed him at 43. His acid of sugar survived him, barely. But here is what Scheele could not have known. The compound he isolated that day was not new. It was ancient. Oxalic acid exists in the leaves of sorrel, a plant that grows wild across every continent. In rhubarb, in wood sorrel. Nature had been manufacturing this cleaning agent for 400 million years. Scheele did not invent it. He simply noticed. But the archive holds more. 1. Indianapolis. A German immigrant named T.W. Hoffman notices something strange. Every time his wife boils rhubarb, the copper pot comes out gleaming. He does not clean it. He does not scrub it. The rhubarb does the work. Hoffman knows chemistry. He knows what is in rhubarb. Oxalic acid. He begins to experiment. He isolates the compound. He tests it on every surface he can find. Bar counters caked in grime. Restaurant pans scarred by years of heat. Hotel bathtubs stained with decades of mineral deposits. It works on everything. In 1882, Hoffman files a patent. He calls his product Barkeeper's Friend. The name is deliberate. It targets the dirtiest surfaces in the hardest working kitchens. Rust, lime scale, hard water stains. Mineral deposits that commercial cleaners can only mask. Barkeeper's Friend removes them. Chemically, permanently, and it costs almost nothing. For decades, Barkeeper's Friend was the standard. Hotels stocked it. Restaurants relied on it. It was the powder under every professional sink in America. Then something changed. But the archive holds more. If what you have heard so far matters to you, subscribe. The archive remains open. But why does it work? Not does it work. We have established that. The question is why. The answer lies in a process called chelation, specifically double displacement. Every rust stain, every lime scale deposit, every hard watermark is the same thing. A metal oxide bonded to your surface. Iron oxide, calcium carbonate, locked in place, fused at the molecular level. When oxalic acid touches that bond, it does not scrub. It does not abrade. It performs chemistry. The oxalic acid molecule offers the metal ion a better deal, a more stable bond, a lower energy state. The metal releases the surface and bonds with the acid instead. Double displacement. The stain dissolves. Not into the surface, into the water. You rinse it away. Gone, not masked, not bleached, chemically removed. For 250 years, Scheele's compound waited. Then modern chemistry proved what he had stumbled upon. The most efficient, most selective, most elegant cleaning reaction known to surface chemistry. Published research confirms it. Chelation chemistry textbooks cite it. The compound was never debunked. It was marginalized. But the archive holds more. Let us do the math. The average American household spends $1,800 per year on cleaning products. Bathroom cleaners, kitchen degreasers, rust removers, lime scale solutions, tile brighteners, each one marketed as essential, each one designed to be repurchased every few weeks. A 2-pound bag of oxalic acid costs $2. It replaces all of them. One bag lasts most households 6 months to a year. That is $2 to $4 per year, against $1,800. Multiply that across 130 million American households. That is $234 billion in annual revenue, threatened by a $2 bag of white powder. Now ask yourself a question. If you ran one of those companies, if your quarterly earnings depended on consumers buying a different bottle for every surface, what would you do about the powder that does everything? This is not a conspiracy. This is shelf placement economics. When a product threatens an entire category, the response is predictable. You do not ban it. You bury it. The records show what happened next. The records show a pattern. Not a ban, not a recall, something quieter. In the 1950s, the modern cleaning industry took shape. Procter & Gamble, S.C. Johnson, Henkel, Reckitt. Their model was simple. Create a product for every surface, a spray for glass, a powder for tile, a gel for rust, a foam for grout, a wipe for countertops. The opposite of oxalic acid, which does all of it. They did not need to ban it. They needed to make it invisible. Step 1. Marketing saturation. If you spend $9 billion a year on advertising specialized cleaners, the consumer forgets that a general solution exists. You do not argue against the powder. You simply fill every available channel with something else. Television, print, in-store displays, digital ads. $9 billion of noise. Step 2. Retail shelf allocation. Shelf space is purchased. The companies with the largest advertising budgets buy the most visible placements. Eye level, end cap, front of aisle. Oxalic acid, sold under no major brand, backed by no marketing budget. Move to the bottom shelf, then to the back aisle, then to online only. Step 3. Regulatory complexity. Not a ban. A labeling burden. Hazard classifications that apply equally to bleach and ammonia. But only one of them faces retail consequences. The same warnings, different outcomes. Industry financial reports reveal the model clearly. The cleaning industry's profit margin depends on product diversification. One product per surface, one product per stain type, one product per room. A consumer who discovers oxalic acid exits the entire ecosystem. They do not switch brands, they leave the category. That is the threat. Not that it does not work, that it works too well. The timeline tells the story. 1882, Barkeeper's Friend launches, immediate success. 1953, the modern cleaning aisle takes shape. Specialized products flood the market. 1970s, oxalic acid moves from mainstream retail to specialty stores. 1990s, search engines emerge. The first wave of rediscovery begins. In woodworking forums, marine restoration guides, hotel management manuals. 2020s, social media creates the second wave. Millions discover what their grandparents knew. But the knowledge did not vanish completely. It went underground. Hotel housekeepers kept a bag in the supply closet for the stains no commercial product could touch. Marine restorers used it every week on teak decks. Woodworkers passed it down like a trade secret. And in Amish country, where simplicity is not a trend, but a principle, the powder never left the shelf. Now, it is your turn. If this knowledge deserves to survive, share this video. The archive remains open, but only if it is passed forward. Here is how you use it. And I want to be precise, because precision is respect for the compound. First, safety. Rubber gloves, always. Ventilation, open a window or turn on a fan. Oxalic acid is a natural compound, but concentrated solutions can irritate skin and lungs. Treat it with the same care you would give any powerful tool. Now, the formula. 1 tablespoon of oxalic acid powder per 1 quart of warm water. Dissolve completely. Stir until clear. That is it. That is the formula that the $200 billion industry hopes you never learn. Bathtub and tile stains. Apply the solution to the stain. Wait 10 minutes. Wipe with a soft cloth. Rinse with clean water. Rust stains. Apply and wait 15 to 20 minutes for heavy rust. The chelation needs time to complete the displacement. Do not rush it. Let the chemistry work. Wood restoration. Dilute further. Half strength. Apply with a soft brush. This is the same technique marine restorers use on teak decks and antique furniture. Hard water deposits on glass. Full strength solution. Apply. Wait 5 minutes. Rinse thoroughly with clean water. Where to find it? Online, farm supply stores, woodworking suppliers. It is not in the cleaning aisle. That should tell you something. Cost: $2 to $8 for a bag that lasts 6 to 12 months. Storage: sealed container. Dry place: away from children and pets. There was a generation that did not need a 50-foot cleaning aisle. They had a tin under the sink. No label. Just a powder and a lifetime of knowing what worked. Then the aisle came, and the tin disappeared. Not because it failed, because it was replaced by something louder. This is the pattern. It repeats across every industry. The simple solution is found. It works. It threatens a profit model. And it is buried. Not with force, but with noise. Oxalic acid is not just a cleaning compound. It is a test of whether knowledge can survive commerce. In 1776, Scheele held a flask of white crystals. In 1882, Hoffman watched his wife's rhubarb clean a copper pot. In 1953, the aisle came. For 70 years, the powder slept. It slept. We forgot. It waited. Today, you remembered. The archive remains open, for those who choose to look, for those who refuse to forget, for those who understand that the simplest solutions are always the most dangerous, to the systems that profit. From complexity, subscribe, share, and remember, the powder under the sink was never lost. It was waiting for you to find it again.